It is great to know that our veteran, artist Krishen Khanna is reaching his hundredth milestone. Living a long life itself is a great achievement, and that too, being creative, working continuously, reaching there is something all the more great. When did I come to know about Krishen Khanna? I think it perhaps was during the 1971. I think I saw a couple of paintings which he had done about war. And these were the works which were done against the Bangladesh war, if I am not mistaken. They were titled as Game 1 and Game 2, showed army generals sitting in the war room preparing, a war strategy. And in one of the paintings, under the table, there was a human body lying, perhaps a dead body. It really moved me. And even today, when I think of his works, these are the two paintings which come to my mind immediately. There are not many works which I can think of which dealt with war, especially the Bangladesh war. These works, as well as some of the terracotta reliefs by K.G. Subramanian, are the ones which I remember vividly. His work, he went through, certain kind of abstraction, figuration, then again abstraction, and eventually, settled with a figuration which he felt is potent enough to deal with the life he was living in India. It didn't really have the mark of Indianness or didn't have the mark of Westernness, but gave him a sharp tool to describe the world as he saw it. I mean, of course, every uh, winter months when uh, I walk on the street and see the wedding processions, immediately, I think of his, bandwalas, a series of painting which he started very early and still continues to, explore. Something, which the colonial legacy, left behind. But at the same time, it deals with celebration as well as, certain kind of, sadness. So it is not just, if you look at all those, characters in red coat and blue trousers, you can see that, it is not just about, celebration, the music which they make, but it is also about, their own agony, within. I also remember, reading his own autobiography, Time of My Life, which I have enjoyed, thoroughly. I mean, this must have been several years back, but I can still remember, some of the characters, he portrays from his days, in Lahore, where he, grew up. To me, Kishan always, stood out of the, progressive group of, artists. I think he was ambitious. He wanted to, create, a certain kind of grand procession, in his works, something like, what he did, which I haven't seen. I would like to see it one day. The murals which he did for the Kanishka, hotel, which can be actually seen as an inheritor of medieval saints by Vinod Bihari, Mukherjee. So for I have met him only couple of times, and I always admired him, and his also his sophistication, and he was a wonderful conversationalist. And I remember talking to him on telephone once, and talking about our teaching, and he went on and on for almost half an hour in crisp English language. To me, Kishan's work has always been inspirational, and as a 100% figurative painter who continued to believe in figuration, and found a way of understanding the social and political life of our country. One of the last paintings which I think I admire the most is something called Ramu's Dhaba. I can also think of his biblical stories, as well as some of the paintings which were based on people who work in a truck, or showing the backside of the truck. Sitting here in Baroda, I met him. I think he used to come to Baroda quite often, and if I am not mistaken, when I was a student, he had also come as an examiner, and because he was very close to Ghulam Muhammad Sheikh, and it's quite possible that he must have invited him to be on the jury, examination jury. And I also remember once Ghulam Sheikh mentioning to me, I don't have the full details, that once when he was taking an exhibition to Bombay, he invited him, and he came with the rolls to the faculty on the way, to Bombay, and put, without stretchers or anything, put them up in the auditorium. So he was somebody who was absolutely down to earth, and it didn't matter to him as long as people looked at his work. I am sure he has a long way to go, and he's is going to continue to be creative in his life, and I wish him all all the best, and a long and creative life.